Hare Krishna. So yesterday, in the last part of our discussion, we saw how there is a great tapasya, adhyan, investing oneself in deeply studying the scripture, not even a scholar, not simply a rasika. Being rasika is important, but someone who is yogi, yogishwar. Both Valmiki Maharshi and Narad Muni were yogis of the highest order. And one yogi, Valmiki Maharshi, before even compiling, even though he knew Ram very well, he had interacted with the Lord Ramachandra, still he did not take up to writing till he was inspired by Narad Muni, and then eventually Lord Brahma ordered him that he should compile Valmiki Ramayana. Compared to this background, when we see people who compile, especially their interpretation of our dharmic scriptures, and they make so many mistakes. Somebody said there was a European writer. He would compile when he was drunk and edit when he was sober. So the editing would be done skillfully, but the compilation would not change because his mentality, his mansikta would be there in his compilation. Therefore, it cannot be compared also. The compilation of the ordinary and the compilation of the great personalities cannot be compared. That shows that, in Nyaya Shastra logic, when somebody studies Nyaya, they have the ability to even ask right kind of questions. The Bhagavatam explains, Munayo sadhu prostam bhavadbir lokamangalam. The person who is asking question also is not stupid. Not that because he is ignorant, therefore he is asking question. Jigyasa is not the domain of ignorant. Jigyasa is the domain of those who are deep thinkers. They have the power to inspire the other party to bring out best of the answer. Therefore, when Shaunikadi Rishis asked this question, Suta Goswami congratulates them for brilliant questions. So Narad Muni and Valmiki Maharshi's samvad, a discussion, is not simply ordinary talk, chai pe charcha. No. It is not like that. It is very, very deep. And therefore Ramayana is here. No. Ramayana is here. So they were talking about not ordinary jigyasa, they were actually talking about Brahma Prapti. And here that Brahma Prapti is connected to the avatar, the Maryada Purushottam Lord Ramachandra. So they are discussing about guna of the Lord. He is a guna sagara. One poet says that when Hanumanji jumped across the ocean, he did not realize the depth of the ocean because he simply crossed over. When the Devatas and the Asuras were churning the milk ocean, where were they churning? How much extent they could go and churn? There was a limitation. How far the fish can swim into the water? Recently, one devotee was mentioning, he said, can you imagine these submarines, they cannot handle the pressure beyond certain level of the sea. They will burst. That this ordinary fish, very small, and to even go up to that extent, this submarine has to be built very systematically. But there are fish, they are going deep into the ocean. Even those fish cannot go to the limit of the ocean. He was also mentioning that they actually put cameras because human beings cannot go. So when they place the cameras, eventually after some time the cameras burst because the pressure of the water is so great. So when an ordinary person cannot go to the extent of the ocean, it is simply a salty ocean. It's a salty ocean, but Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is called as Gunasagara. How far can you go? Therefore, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami explains, when he discusses the 64 qualities of Krishna, it is not that they are frozen, it is done with Krishna's qualities. It is from Rupa Goswami's perspective. After studying so many scripture, Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipano, Sadharma Samstapako. But what does he say? That I am just simply touching the shore of the ocean and trying to understand. So similarly, Valmiki Maharshi is the great personality. He could collect 16 qualities. And he asked this question to Narad Muni, do you know anyone who possesses all the 16 qualities? Now the question is raised, how these qualities are related to our practical benefits. Is it simply being absorbed in these stories? Does it make any practical sense to us? Now Krishna promises in the Bhagavad Gita that one who understands Krishna's divine nature, he acquires the very nature of the Lord. हम भगवान नहीं बनेंगे, we will not become God, but certainly we acquire godly qualities. In one sense, when we go back and see, Vedic scripture say, Aham Brahmasmi. Krishna is also says, Aham Brahmasmi. Krishna's character is full of knowledge, full of bliss and full of eternality. So similarly, living entity, when he is connected to Purna Brahma, by discussing his qualities, by sharing his qualities, if you keep a parrot, ordinary bird, in the home of a butcher, what do you see? A parrot acquiring the same language of a butcher. As simple as that. If you are raised in the house of a Keralite worshipping Sabrimala, what happens? You naturally follow that. Association of an ordinary person has such a power that the ordinary association also makes us like them. And what to speak of? Associating with Krishna, Lord Ramachandra, Lord Chaitanya, and those who have the same absorption in these personalities. Therefore, one devotee said, we become Krishnite. People call, oh, Krishnas are going. What does it mean? It's not that they are saying we are Krishna. Like in the Mahabharata, Arjuna was called as Krishna. Now one definition of that Krishna means, because Arjuna had a beautiful darkish color. No? That is one definition of Krishna. Other definition is given because Arjuna was so absorbed in Krishna, he became Krishnamayi. Radharani's one name is Krishnamayi. And it's a very hope-giving name according to Kaviraj Goswami. Because wherever she sees, wherever she glances, what does it see? She does not see the Papa Purusha. She does not see the conditional nature of the living entity, but beyond that conditional nature, she sees that Krishna consciousness. That is called as Krishnamayi. Therefore, when somebody claims that I am Krishna consciousness, Depending upon our Krishna consciousness, we will have the ability to see the potential of Krishna consciousness in others. Depending upon how much we are not Krishna consciousness, we will only see faults. Then we will be Shishupal consciousness. Shishupal cannot see good in Krishna also. What to speak of seeing good in others? The supremely good, he is not touched by that. Just see how far is the consciousness of Shishupal. And how deep is the consciousness of Radharani. She can see Krishna where there is non-Krishna. Arjuna asked this question to Krishna in the Gita. Krishna, how may I or others see you in matter? Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintosi bhagwan maya. How may I see you? What a question Arjuna is trying to ask on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Even if they are my opponent, circumstantially they are my opponent, but constitutionally they are connected to you. Therefore, I want to see and I want to help others to see you, my Lord, in everything. सब चीज में आपको मैं देखना चाहता हूं, मैं दिखाना चाहता हूं. There is nothing but Krishna. Prabhupada writes in one of the purport in the 7th or 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. It is not water, but it is Krishna. Because when you experience the taste of water, you remember Krishna. So therefore, when we talk about remembering the qualities of Lord Ramachandra, which is elaborated by Narad Muni to Valmiki Maharshi going through the entire 24,000 of Valmiki Ramayana, naturally we will ask, what is my benefit? Why should I invest my time so much in learning simply for entertainment? Simply for absorption? For absorption, there are so many movies. They actually have the power to get you absorbed. They make you forget everything. If it is only Tallinta, then I'll go and watch movies. So why should I remember Ram's qualities? Because here, Valmiki Maharshi, Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, they are giving us complete assurance. As you associate, you develop those qualities for sure. And therefore, one is understanding Ram and other is becoming Ramamayi. One is understanding Krishna and other is becoming Krishnamayi, Krishna consciousness. Just like Prabhupada said, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, writes in teachings of Lord Chaitanya, what is Krishna consciousness means? Krishna consciousness means Krishna Chaitanya. So becoming Krishna consciousness means we are becoming closer to Krishna Chaitanya. So Krishna Chaitanya is the original consciousness of the living entity. Therefore, it is not the question of whether I believe Lord Chaitanya or not. It is my nature to be Krishna Chaitanya. It is my nature to be Krishna consciousness. So therefore, with this understanding, when we actually go deeper into Ramayana, we also will get some part of these qualities. It will be so nice to get these qualities. So all of these qualities of Lord Ramachandra can become our property also. Why? Because we are also full of knowledge, full of bliss, and full of eternality. So therefore, it is explained, Avatara has two benefits. Avataras exhibit two qualities. One is Paratattva and second is Saulabhyatva. Paratattva means what? Paratattva means that he is vast, he is unapproachable. He is difficult to access because of his power and position. When the President of India wants to come to your temple, like he came to Pune temple opening. When he came to Pune temple opening, they had to give the list of those people who are supposed to attend, their ID card, their citizenship. If they are non-Indians, then there is a special security. Who will sit with him? What is their background? Which place they will sit with? All that information they had to process. It was not easy. Just imagine, who is he? A president of India has so much of protocol. Even if you had the great desire to meet him, if you are not in the list, you become not capable to meet him. Meeting him is not based upon simply your determination. Meeting is based upon your capacity also. Determination is simply very emotional thing. Determination cannot be called as determination if it is not connected with our capacity. If I say I want to run 20 kilometers, I am very determined. I go and offer praise to Lord Narsingh Dev. I go and offer praise to Hanumanji, Bhim. And I run and run. And I run 5 kilometers, I run 7 kilometers. But however determined I am, if I do not have the capacity, I will collapse and I will have a heart failure. So therefore, determination has to be connected with our capacity. Therefore, Shraddha is connected with logic. श्रद्धा के पीछे न्याय भी होना चाहिए, दृढ़ता के पीछे हमारी क्षमता भी होनी चाहिए. So therefore, when we talk about seeing God, you cannot see the Prime Minister of India, the President of India. What to speak of seeing God? So therefore, it is concluded the Paratattva is inaccessible. Forget Paratattva, the Sun God. If Sun God is little far away from us, we are finished. And if Sun God decides to come 1 inch closer to us, then also we are finished. Ek Surya Dev. Forget Sun God. Even if we take moon. Just imagine if we feel a moon hi chalega. Moon if he comes closer to us, that is okay. No, we will be frozen to death also. Every planet, every devata, if they change little of their axis, there will be disaster, like a Punjab train killing so many people. Just see, we do not have the capacity to handle. People were so absorbed in their celebration in a wrong place, the train crashed them to death. Actually, human being is so vulnerable, and he raises this question. Forget raising question. He gives interpretation. Mera Ramayana. When you go tomorrow, when you see these books, you should laugh at them and cry for them simultaneously. Kitni badi murkhata hai. So therefore, this Paratattva is very difficult. So therefore, people say, Bhagwan itne dur hai. He is so far from us. How there is an accessibility? And that very God, very Krishna, one who is Paratattva, inaccessible to us, he comes to this very place and becomes accessible to us. The harmony between the accessible and inaccessible is called as avatar. अवतार का अर्थ क्या है? दिव्य है, जो हमारे सीमा के परे है, जिनको हम पकड़ नहीं सकते. We can't catch him. Our position is like that demon who was trying to catch Krishna. What was his name? The demon in Krishna Lila. Kalayavan. He was chasing Krishna. He was thinking he's so close to me, but he couldn't catch. Brahma Samhita says that pantastu koti satavassara samvargamyam vayor atapi manoso muni pungavan. That even if the munis, the greatest of the muni pungava, if they run with the speed of the mind, still they will not have access to God. But that very God, that very personality of Godhead, He comes and becomes very accessible to you. That is called as Avatara Tattva. And the question is raised, but now He is not here for me. He is not here for me. Therefore, one Vaishnava said, the beauty of Krishna Guna, Krishna Nam, Krishna avatar is bound by time in this world. The Prakat Lila will happen only for some years, however long it is. Lord Ramachandra lived more than 11,000 years, but for us that 11,000 years is still very small because He appeared in Dwapar Yuga, in Treta Yuga. Right, Treta Yuga is so big. So in that lakhs of years, Ram appeared for 11,000 years. Compared to our Ayu, that may be big, but compared to the time factor is very small. Therefore, He has to wind up His pastime and go back. So He becomes inaccessible to us. Krishna came for 125 years. Small. Right. And Lord Chaitanya came for only 48 years. Only 48 years. And that too just 500 years ago. But still, from the Prakata perspective, we don't have accessibility. So this devotee was saying that Krishna, Ram, all other incarnation, their Prakata Lila may not be accessible, but their Leela, their Naam, their Guna, their character is always available to all the living entities. All the time it is available. So therefore, when they are available in this way, when we continuously contemplate on their qualities, hear their stories, then to be fascinated by Krishna and Ram is not a difficult thing. You don't have to break your brains to be convinced. It is but natural. Prabhupada explains, the process of Krishna consciousness is not knowing Krishna. It's about loving Krishna. In loving Krishna, knowing is there. But how do you love Krishna? You love Krishna by discussing about His psychology, His character, His activities, His fascinating activities. When you discuss about these fascinating activities, then you realize, wow. So these 16 qualities of Lord Ramachandra are very beautiful. And they manifested in avatar. And even if he is not here, it is explained, how does it descend? Wherever you are discussing about Ram. Now that was the benediction Lord Ramachandra gave to Hanumanji also. What was the benediction? Wherever you hear my katha, Hanumanji is there. And wherever the katha is going on, Hanumanji is there. And wherever there is Hanumanji, Lord Ramachandra and Sita is also there. Through the katha. And through the deities, Archa Vigraha, those who have Archa Vigraha in their house, they know the power of reciprocation by the Lord. Murti ke roop mein, katha ke roop mein, Paramatma. The Lord is there in the heart of every living entity. Now, Lord Krishna, when He is there as Paramatma, He is not there to monitor our life. One Vaishnava poet said कि भगवान ने अपने आप को परमात्मा के रूप में सबके हृदय में वितरित कर दिया है. So sweet. Paramatma is not there to like a CCTV. When we deny Paramatma, then we are tormented by the CCTV. Parvarjana Paramatma. Right, but when we accept Paramatma, it doesn't matter whether CCTV is there or not. But accepting Paramatma, this understanding is there not to monitor us, but to inspire us. And He has actually distributed Himself in everybody's heart. And not only in the human beings, even the most insignificant and अपने आप को दान देने की प्रवृत्ति, Om Purnamada Purnam is there in Lord Vishnu. That is Paramatma. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains in work. He says every work is described in the Vedas. And Vedas are directly coming from Supreme Brahman. Therefore, what does Krishna say in the Gita to Arjun? And the same thing Lord Ram says to Bharat. He says every work, has connection to divinity, even though there may be some fault, just like there is a smoke in the fire. Similarly, every work has certain limitation because it's a part of this dual world. द्वंद्व के जगत होने के कारण वहाँ कमतियाँ सीमाएं होगी, limitation होगा. Therefore, Krishna does not judge any work. One of the qualities of Lord Ram, we will discuss that. Now, Guha. Who was Guha? One of the profession of Guha was to kill birds. He was like that hunter only. Guha was like that hunter, killing birds. He was the king of the Nishada, on the outskirts of Ayodhya, protecting the borders of Ayodhya, having his own small kingdom. He was a Nishad. And this Nishad, when he came in contact with Lord Ramachandra, who is Lord Ramachandra? What is his background? Lord Ramachandra's background from Ayodhya. We studied the Ayodhya's culture. Now Nishada, what culture he had? He had no culture. But Lord Ramachandra, when he met Guha, what did he do? He actually embraced Guha. Not only embraced Guha, it is explained that Lord Ramachandra, when he left Ayodhya, he was thinking that my father is feeling that we are only four, I have only 4 sons. Wish I could have had more sons. So Lord Ramachandra went to the forest collecting more brothers and more sons to his father. And therefore, actually in the Valmiki Ramayana, it is not simply a Vaishnava poet saying this. Actually in the Valmiki Ramayana, Lord Ramachandra said, Guha, you are my brother. Ek Nishad ko, outcast. And then people say Lord Ram killed Shudra. Therefore there is a caste consciousness. Just see, Shishupal's consciousness. You're not seeing this story. He's an outcast. Lord Ramachandra embraced him and did not only call him as a Mitra, he called him as Bhrata. And then when he had Sugriva, one more brother, and he had Vibhishan, another brother. In this way, Ram was looking for collecting more and more and more brothers. That was his consciousness. So we see that there is no such discrimination. There is saulabhyatvam. And what was his profession? A bird hunter. In Lord Chaitanya's story also we see Mahaprabhu is the greatest of the sannyasis. And one of his somebody who was in close relation to Lord Chaitanya was a fisherman. Remember when Lord Chaitanya disappears in the water because of his ecstasy, all the devotees are looking for Lord Chaitanya. And eventually they come to the fisherman. Mahaprabhu did not tell him, give up everything and join the ashram. Now he's born from that background, but as long, if he can move away from that profession, great. But if he can remember Vishnu in that also, this devotee every day when he would go to fish, people take profession because they make money. But he was born in that background. Therefore the Mahabharata talks about Dharma Vyad. In the 11th canto Bhagavatam, in the least of devotees, Krishna is speaking this to Uddhav. In the least of the devotees, which includes the least of gopis, the Brahmani Patnis, and so many other devotees, there is the name of Dharma Vyadya and Tuladhar. You can read in the Bhagavatam 11th canto. So the accessibility in profession, if it is done with devotion, I am not saying that people should start opening a slaughterhouse. Or if Krishna can be accessible there also, if it is not your background, if you are not raised in that, you should not have to start something new. If somebody is born there and is not able to change, there are some devotees in one village. Now some Belgium devotees were telling me they are from the coast area. And these ladies around 60, 70-year-old, their entire life went selling fish. And they became devotees. They stopped eating all that. But they don't know any other profession. They go to the market and they sell. Now I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you the story. You know, you have to think about it. They go every day and sell. And then they come back to the temple. And this devotee was telling Prabhuji, they are the one who do the maximum amount of seva. And there are others who are well-informed people. They have their arrogance of knowledge. They have all the analysis in regards to what is devotional service. They create conflict in the association, hardly render any service. So my question is, who is better? There is a village near Udupi. Many years back, one devotee took me there. It's on the coast again. All this place coast only. And it is a colony of the fishermen. One devotee said, Prabhuji, हम लोग जाके वहाँ प्रचार करेंगे. हम हमेशा प्रचार करने की बातें करते हैं, no? So when I went there, I was shocked to see it was a colony of fishermen and they had a beautiful temple of Matsyavatar. Matsyavatar का मंदिर बनाया था. One great devotee in Udupi, Vadiraj Swami, he actually established the deity of Matsyavatar, and some of the fishermen, they do not do any of these activities. They are not Brahmins. They are fishermen only. They are actually the pujaris worshipping the Matsyavatar. I don't know what kind of deity it was, but it was a Matsyavatar deity. Because Vadiraj is thinking from Ram's perspective. So therefore, this is how Lord Ramachandra and Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya are accessible. Lord Chaitanya was accessible to that fisherman. Lord Krishna is remembering, speaking to Uddhav in the 11th canto, the story, at least the name of Dharma Vyadya. Therefore, Prabhupada, when he came to America, when he saw the Americans drink more liquor than water, so what did he say? He gave this kind of interpretation for some time for making Krishna accessible. Is not giving his own idea. He said, when you drink liquor, because they don't drink water, they drink so less water, he said, when you drink your wine, when you experience the taste of wine, you should say, the taste of wine is Krishna. If they consciously do like that, what will happen? The wine will go away, Krishna will remain. This is the legacy of Narad Muni. The legacy of Narad Muni is what? By some means make them feel the presence of Krishna consciousness. This is not compromising. It is not watering down. It is becoming Udara Cheta, large-hearted, while maintaining one's own principle. The interesting point with Lord Ramachandra was, some people say, again, we don't have to quote them, but still we have to quote them to understand how sad, how far they can think, pervertly. Because Lord Ramachandra was connected to Guha, because Lord Ramachandra was connected to all the kapis, they say that Lord Ramachandra regularly consumed flesh. Somebody came running to Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, did Lord Ram eat meat? Because they had just given up eating meat, right? So they were like kind of, you're threatened when you hear something which you are not practicing. Others are, and especially those who are supposed to be part of your group. And if they are doing something else, you get threatened. How can they do this when I had a trouble? So when they came running to Prabhupada saying that, Prabhupada, did Lord Ramachandra eat meat? No, Prabhupada did not get into all the details. He said he can drink fire also and can digest. It's about the power of digestion. If we can digest both the meat and the karmic cycle, then you can consume anything and everything. Vyasdev told Kunti, the powerful personalities can digest anything and everything. So Prabhupada did not discuss more about it. That is, he can consume fire, but for the sake of understanding in the Valmiki Maharshi's Ramayana, did Lord Ram as a Kshatriya when he was traveling around, because Vali raised this question also to Ram. When Lord Ramachandra shot Vali, Vali said, my dear Lord Ram, we are kapis. Our flesh is not even consumed. If it was deer, if it was a rabbit, it was a peacock, I can understand that you are killing because you need flesh to consume. He said, nobody eats monkey's flesh or kapi's flesh. Even from the food perspective, it was wrong on your part to kill me. So people say, again when Lord Ramachandra shot that golden deer, Sita said, dead or alive, but I want it. So, if you read again Valmiki Maharshi's Ramayana, everything is there in Valmiki's Ramayana only. When Lord Ramachandra left Ayodhya, he took a vow. What is that? Not shaving his hair. Usually we only describe Lord Ramachandra without mustache, without beard, but actually in Ramayana, because he came as a human being. After he came back to Ayodhya, all the four brothers, because of Lord Ram and Bharat, because of Ram and Lakshman, even Bharat and Shatrughna followed the vows of 14 years. No shaving, sleeping on an ordinary ground. Just like Bharat decided, if Ram is not eating cooked food, that was the vow of Lord Ramachandra. I am not going to eat any cooked food. I am not going to enter into any city. I will practice 14 years of Chaturmas. No shaving, nothing. So not eating cooked food. What was he eating? He was only eating roots. Not the dry fruits what you get from your stores. Dry fruit means the berries which were dried. And if you would get some fresh fruits, you would eat that. Nothing was cooked. So there was no question of ever consuming any flesh. Nothing like that. So therefore, he did practice the vow of pure food consumption. But at the same time, he had such a kindness, friendship with Guha, where he actually embraced Guha. with great love and affection. Again, now this is only not Lord Ramachandra. Those who worship Lord Ramachandra, they also had the same heart. Now this is there in the Valmiki Ramayana. Before you read from somebody else, it is better that we discuss here. Again, this is also very interesting. The Acharyas, according to where you grew, what was your background, they actually filtered certain information because there was no need to process that information. The society, forget 100 years ago, even 50 years ago, the society was most reserved. There was a conscious separation of different communities so that there should not be any bewilderment. There was a lesser diversity in the society. Even the scripture, it is not that everybody had Bhagavatam in their home, everybody had their Gita in the home, everybody had their Mahabharata in the home. There was no printing press only. If you see from that perspective, when we say, now people have greater access to scripture. One thing that they don't read, that is a different thing. They don't read and don't listen to also. But on our mobile phone, you can have all the literature you could ever imagine. Can you imagine? पूरे आपके फोन में जितने भी पुराण वेद and then महाभारत रामायण all the commentaries, पुस्तकों को संग्रह करने की जो रोग है ना, कईयों को होती है. We have it in the laptop, in the phone, in the iPad, then in the iCloud, wherever you want to access, it is there. So people have greater accessibility to the scripture now compared to even 50 years ago. If you go to Kolkata Museum, where the Bhaktivedanta library is there, you should go and see the original handwritten works of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. His letters to his daughter, his original compilation of different songs. He couldn't afford paper. When you see his writing on the paper and then using other way around on the border of that paper also, every part of the paper is utilized because you couldn't afford any paper. जो भी मिला उसको सही प्रकार से यूज किया कर रहे हैं. Therefore, even rubbing something, I don't like this one. You couldn't afford that. Anything you would write has to be there forever without changing any of that. Nowadays, people write Vyas Puja, they finish the entire book, but still they can't write one paper article because accessibility. So the scriptures were not accessible as it is now. Therefore, those who had the accessibility of the scripture, they were extremely careful what kind of information has to be processed to the people who are so innocent. If you read Kamba Ramayana, or if you read Tulsidasa's Ramayana, the story of Vali's wife getting married to Sugriva is consciously avoided, even though it is there in the Valmiki Ramayana. Both Kamba Ramayana and Tulsi Ramayana doesn't discuss this, but it is there in the original Valmiki Ramayana. What was not accessible 500 years ago, 600 years ago, you can directly go there. What happened to Vali's wife? All the information is processed. And then people use this, isolated verses. I remember reading one article about Pandavas being lusty after Draupadi. Somebody, again, from the parampara of Shishupal, So he said, just see the Pandavas when they married Draupadi. How did they marry Draupadi? He takes one or two verses from Mahabharata, which says, all the Pandavas simultaneously looking at Draupadi with lustful eyes. Now this is the English translation. Now if you actually go back in if you read like that, and he's quoting the verse number, which part of the Mahabharata, ek do teen shlok dega, this shows that Pandavas' marriage with Draupadi is all based upon their obsessive lust towards her. Therefore, they made this decision of marrying her. So therefore, it is not a correct marriage, and he quotes Mahabharata. So when you read that verse, it is exactly like that Zakir Naik does, na? He is the condensed form of Shishupal. Huh? Condensed form of Shishupal, that what right, what consciousness, what understanding you have, and many people, अरे प्रभु जी वो तो शास्त्र कोट करता है. No, शास्त्र नहीं कोट करता है. शास्त्र डेविल अपने बुद्धि को, अपनी चेतना को, अपने विकृत चेतना के द्वारा कोट कर रहा है. And if you read the Sanskrit, what this says, काम भावना से. Now, काम is not necessarily lust only. काम यानी कि इच्छा. और इच्छा कैसे जागृत हो गई? How did they get this desire, all of them wanting to marry Draupadi? Because few months back, Vyasdev had come and told the Pandavas, my dear Pandavas, it is your destiny. Nobody can change it. In fact, everybody will approve it. Narad Muni approved it. Krishna approved it. Kunti approved it. And you can't avoid that it is your destiny. And it was the benediction given by Lord Shiva to Draupadi. In her destiny, she is supposed to marry 5 husbands. And he told so many stories to the Pandavas. So based upon that, इच्छा जागृत करना एक काम हो गया या प्रेम हो गया? Just see. Just because he's giving 2-3 verses and logically trying to present to you, you feel, wow, he makes so much of sense. That means there is all wrong. No, Pandavas are actually lusty. And then there is some other person says, actually Pandavas from some Himalayan mountains where there was a, just like in the other part of the India, there is polygamy. Similarly, what is the other name for it? Poly? Huh? I didn't get. Whatever it is. A woman has the facility to marry more than one man. So they tell story from some Himalayan mountains. ऐसे उधर हुआ करता था. ऐसा कुछ है नहीं. लेकिन you have to create some stories like that to bring the Pandavas to the level of some tribal people. देखो कितना विचित्र तरह से. Therefore, here when we see Valmiki Maharshi is handling such a diversity, Bharadraj Rishi. Why am I making all these stories? Bharadraj Rishi, when you read that part of the Ramayana, because there is always debate. Was Indian society complete vegetarian, fully? Was Indian society at some point out of fully non-vegetarian? There is a debate for this. सब लोग खाते थे या नहीं खाते थे? When it started. There cannot be a society which will be one track at any given point of time. It is not possible only. That defies the very definition of 400,000 species of human beings. And not understanding this and trying to create a uniformity of rule to everybody is a counterproductive. So therefore, when Bharadraj Rishi, when he welcomed the entire army of Bharat ki Sena, it comes there. And what does our Bharadraj Rishi do? Now, Bharadraj Rishi himself is the original student of Valmiki Maharshi who actually did 24,000 verses by heart. Therefore, it is explained whenever you meet people from Bharadraj Gotra, if they have followed their Gotra very well, they have a natural ability to actually, photographic memory. So therefore, the students of Ramayana, they always offer special respect to people from Bharadraj Gotra. Because of them, Ramayana is available to all of us. Because Valmiki Maharshi did not simply, thinking and, saying, okay, you remove this. डिलीट कर दो, इसमें डालो, ये 2 पेज निकाल दो, right? He would just recite. He would just recite, and Bharadraj Rishi, once hearing, it would stay in his brain, in his heart, in his mind, in his very existence. Then eventually, after some time, Valmiki Maharshi asked, how many verses? He said, Gurudev, 24,000. Arey baapre, itna bada ban gaya. How will we circulate? How will we distribute it? And that's how he selected Lava and Kush. And he narrated as it is. These great acharyas, as I said in the very first day, they do not create narratives. They simply narrate as it is without filtering anything. They do not create characters. When people say that actually the victors are the one who writes their books. So Vyasdev is writing based upon what the Pandavas should be presented. No, Vyasdev is a neutral character. He is equally connected to Pandavas and the Kurus. Not only equally connected to them from relationship perspective, he is an avatar. How can you buy him out? You cannot buy him out. He is not the reporter of this modern age. They speak the language based upon where the money is larger. No, we were all basically Kali Yuga Jiva can be easily purchased. People change their Shraddha for 500 rupees. Can you imagine? उनकी श्रद्धा 500 रुपए में बदल जाती है. अगर आप 2 अच्छा परोटा दे दो, वो श्रद्धावान बन जाता है. मतलब वाह, कृष्ण प्रसाद कितना अच्छा है. 4 दिन भूखा रखो, then his conviction will be realized. So, but these people, Shraddha was not like that. It was totally, transparent. If there is Duryodhana has to be glorified, he will get his due. If Yudhishthira Maharaj has to be criticized for his wrongdoings, that will be written also. Vyasdev does not protect Yudhishthira Maharaj if he is wrong, and Vyasdev does not hide the glories of Karna and Yudhishthira if there is due. So how can people say, oh, this is written by the victors? So what does Valmiki Maharshi do? Valmiki Maharshi is in the line of Lord Ramachandra. When Bharadraj Rishi invites the army of the Bharat, Ayodhya's army, it is explained there was some infantry, the group of soldiers, they were given the flesh of parrot, peacock, rabbit and deer. It is there in the Valmiki Ramayana. It is not an interpretation. It is not extrapolation. It is there in the Valmiki Ramayana, which makes very clear to us that Bharadraj Rishi, realizing there were some group of people, like in Indian army also, there are these Naga soldiers, and we need them. They are fierce. They have such a fierce disposition while fighting. When they are fighting the, LTT in Sri Lanka, nobody could stop them. So these Naga soldiers, when they were brought from Nagaland, you can't stay with them, but you need them. Because they consume flesh kacha. No? They can do that. And because of that, what happened was, when the Tamil tigers would hide their weapons, after making an ambush, they would hide their weapons. So these Naga soldiers, because of consuming raw, their power of smell was extremely sensitive. One army officer was telling this story. He said they were so sensitive, when they would walk by the lake, because the gun, and you have this, what do you call it as, no, the raw material which is used for that. They were able to smell it. And then they would hide near the lake, and whenever this extremist separatist would come, they actually eliminated them without any trouble. And that's how Indian army was successful in basically undermining, minimizing the power of these people. Just imagine if some ordinary, uninformed a devotee goes and preaches to our soldiers, सब लोग कांदा लहसुन बंद करने का. So what will happen? Of course, they will not allow him to come only in the very first place. The point is how ill-informed, and we see from our narrow perspective. So Bharadraj Rishi, he fed them. But the point is, those who were not eating, they were not bewildered. And those who were eating, they were not preaching, "Arey, try karo na isko." That is what happens in the modern world. If you break your rules, so many devotee kids and others, when they go to study in America. Other day when I was coming from Bangalore, next to me one Keralite was sitting. Now Kerala is almost like 97% non-vegetarianism. And many are basically brainwashed by this left, liberal and communist. Even people consume cows, cow also. And they have a party for doing this. And the person who was sitting next to me, he said, "I am from Kerala." And he said, "It has been very tough." He said, "I was in America, I was in other place. But he said, you know what, I am a pure vegetarian, ultimately I had to come back to India." So he was finding little difficulty being a vegetarian. Why? Because when you go, rather than appreciating your standards, people want to actually change you. They want to give you bad, qualities. But he said, that was so difficult for me to. I remember talking to one Gujarati Brahmin. He was studying in one of the colleges in Pune. He said, my father has told me very clearly, "Beta, whatever it takes to grow, you need to do. I am stuck with all these rules, therefore I did not grow so much. But again, you have the chance to grow, forget all the rules, grow." So he said, "I am very clear when I go out, abhi to main nahi khata hu." He said, "But when I am going out," he said, "I will only see how will I grow. I will not try to practice the principle of no meat eating or drinking." He was speaking like that. Mahatma Gandhi, forget others, when he came to London, first time, he took that vow from his mother. "I will not drink, I will not smoke, I will not eat flesh, I will not have illicit activities." When he came to London, he said, "Oh my God, I can't survive here. The Britishers are very strong because they have the power to rule because they eat meat. So, but I have taken vows to my mother." So vows, instead of becoming an inspiration, it was becoming an obligation, it was becoming a difficulty. Then he some other encountered some vegetarian society group. Then he started reading their literature and he was very inspired. Then he became very assertive. But then he realized actually this vegetarian society is inspired by Indian vegetarianism. ये कितना दुर्भाग्य है. Made in London, even though coming from India, becomes an obligation, becomes a burden. But then when it comes from there, it becomes, wow, even I am very happy that I am a vegetarian. But in Ayodhya Sanskriti, everyone, rather than going down, they had the courage to go up or at least appreciate what others are doing. What is this quality of Bharadraja Rishi? The exact quality of Lord Ramachandra. Being available to everybody according to their level of reality. So now we will study the first quality of Lord Ramachandra. There are 16 qualities, and these 16 qualities will take many, many days. It is like actually going every time with studying Valmiki's Ramayana. So again, having this clear understanding, when we study these 16 qualities, contemplate on these 16 qualities, get absorbed in these 16 qualities, there are all chances that some of these qualities or all of these qualities will become part of our personality. No? A greatest of the positive, free of cost also, little money, 500, whatever charges have been made. But this 16 qualities is very interesting. The first quality of Lord Ramachandra is Gunavan. Now what is very interesting, this is one of the 16 qualities. It is not the collection of all the 16 qualities. Gunavan is a quality in itself. It is not collection of the qualities. Apparently, in a regular terminology, we say, when we say Gunavan, means these are the qualities. Bhagyavan, Bhagavan, Aishwaryavan. Right. What does it indicate? It indicates you have sources of wealth, collection of qualities, therefore you are called as Gunavan. But here this Gunavan is an independent quality. How is it independent quality? In India, in our languages, in Marathi, in other South Indian languages also, when you find someone who is extremely warm, charming, nice, so what do they say? To kiti gunwana hai. Say na? Right. What does it indicate? That he is easily approachable. He is very easily approachable. And how Lord Ramachandra is approachable? Example is given that when you have in a distant land, unknown place, and then suddenly you realize that you have lost. You don't know where to go. And you don't want to ask anyone or everyone. I remember when I came first time from a small town, a small town where our entire city's population was 2.5 lakhs. We would see a Fiat car once in 20 minutes. Such a nice place. No? So coming to Bombay on your own without any Google, nothing. So when you land in a city of Bombay, you have heard about Bombay, but you are not experienced. सुनना और अनुभव करने में बहुत बड़ा अंतर होता है. To say that I will fast one full day is informing that I will fast. But when you start at 5 in the evening, you realize, oh, it is so difficult. बोलना और अनुभव करना में बड़ा अंतर होता है. Right. So, you are always feeling that I will be lost here now. And a taxi wala dropped me near Bharati Vidya Bhavan. I said, where is this lane? He said, you walk in. Just imagine, now you know this lane. So I was like, and I had very less money. Right. And there was no way of going back home because I had run away from the home. No. We don't recommend people to do that. No. So, it was, if you don't find the place and you are raised in a very secure, very, very safe environment, no venturing into anywhere without your parents. आपका खाना भी वो तैयार करते थे. उस समय ऐसा था. No? आप क्या कपड़े पहनोगे? No. There was a monologue. They decide and you follow. Now also there is the monologue. Children tell and you have to follow. There is no dialogue only. So, just imagine, you are completely lost and at that time someone comes to you, makes you sit in your car. Nobody did that to me. No. But somebody does to you. And they drive you 7-8 kilometers. This happened to me. Not then. One time we were traveling in the bus party and our our old second-hand van broke down in the Ghat section of Lonavala around 11 o'clock in the night during the winter season. Only 3 of us we were there. And then, there was no mechanic, nobody was there. And suddenly one car came. And we were thinking that he's going to ask so much of money. He said, where can I drop you? I can drop you. Then, we parked it because we had to bring a mechanic also. And it took us in the car and it drove us. Then he asked, where you want to go? Then we gave him the name of one devotee, Jayadev Prabhu. And fortunately, he knew him. He dropped exactly outside his home. And we did not have a prasad also to give him. Now, what is this story? This happened almost like 20, 25 years ago. But still it is completely fresh in my mind. So many stories must have happened and so many stories you must have forgotten. But some stories you will never forget. Why? Because you feel, wow, kitna अच्छा आदमी था, kitna गुणवान था. So similarly, the Lord comes to this world. We are like stuck in Lonavala. It's an eternal Lonavala material world. Completely lost without understanding where we are, what we are doing, what we are supposed to do. Then the Lord appears here in this material world. And what does He do? He holds our hand. He said, I will drop you. And when He drops you at the right place, what does He say? When you say thank you very much, He says, don't say thank you. It's my privilege. It's my privilege. I remember a few years back, some of the devotees, we had gone to Rajasthan to give the experience of, new devotees who had joined. What is the life of beggar? A sadhu's life. How he should live by begging. I think ISKCON devotees do not have that good karma of begging only. So when we went to that village, it was Rajasthan. Rajaon ka desh hai. So when they saw about 20 people in wherever village you went, they said, you are begging in our village? You can't beg in this village. If you beg in this village, that will be a great insult of this village. यहाँ हम आपको राजभोग खिलाएंगे. So nobody had to experience how to beg only, because जहाँ भी जा रहे थे वो लोग 8 आइटम 12 आइटम खिला रहे थे. So the mission completely failed. I think they should go to Kerala. Maybe there is difficulty, but there also they will give, because you'll find so many good people. If you go to Punjab with this understanding, 100% it will fail. Nahi hoga. Right. So just imagine that you are begging and they are feeding you so much. And then they are saying thank you very much. So one of the villager, it was called as Chorwadi. It was a village of the very nice people. And they came up to the outskirts of the village. We were walking about 10-12 kilometers every day. They came outskirts of the village. And one of the devotees, Shri Anand Prabhu, he said, thank you very much for, allowing us to come to our village and hosting us and taking such a nice care of her. And the panchayat, that gram adhyaksh, he started crying. He said, आपने सब बिगाड़ दिया. आपने हमको धन्यवाद देकर सब बिगाड़ दिया. ऐसा नहीं बोलना चाहिए आपको. थैंक यू नहीं बोलना चाहिए. No. He said it was our great privilege and happiness, and by saying thank you, you destroyed this. Affectionately only. He was not angry or upset. So just say, this is called Rama consciousness. So the Lord comes down to this material world, renders service to us, and what does He say? Thank you for giving this opportunity to me. Serving you. And is there in the Ramayana like this? Yes, in the Ramayana, when Lord Ramachandra, he was roaming around with Mother Sita in the Dandakaranya forest. Then he came in touch with the sages. they were going through the pain of, the demons, the Rakshasas were causing so much of pain. So the sages came to Lord Ram. They said, my dear Lord, you are a Kshatriya, and we are doing the puja and yajna. We have the capacity to actually stop these demons. But we are not supposed to use the power of our tapasya to destroy these demons. Therefore, it is your duty on behalf of Bharat to stop these demonic forces, and you should protect us just like the mother protects her baby in the womb. So instantly Lord Ramchandra stopped them. He said, don't say like this. This is my duty. You are engaging me in your service, and that is what is my character. It is my good fortune that you are engaging me. Who is saying this? The Supreme Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the same consciousness, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, 4 kinds of people surrender unto me. Arto, Artarthi, Jigyasu and Jnani. And what does Krishna call them in the next verse? Udara Sarva Evahi. He says all these 4 kinds of people are very magnanimous. What he should be saying, I am magnanimous to accepting them. Setting an example of serving others. But what does Krishna says here? He says all these 4 peoples are magnanimous. उनको उदार सर्व एव ही, उदार एक क्या शब्द उपयोग किया है? उदार सर्व एव ही. Why does Krishna use that word of udara? So here Vedanta Deshika, one great Sri Vaishnava says, he said you have to understand the beauty of Krishna, the greatness of Krishna, wanting to be available to everybody. So Krishna says, you have come to me. आप मेरे पास आए हो, and by coming to me, you are making my position known to the world. If you don't come to me, how will people know what is my position? I am the giver. I give people. But if you don't come to me, how will I give? By coming to me, what are you doing? You are actually establishing my position. Otherwise, I will lose that position. Right? One poet, one poor poet, a Vaishnava poet, he was waiting for Lord Balaji's darshan. And then, what happened? Some of the people, they chased him away. They said, "Chalo, niklo idhar se." So he became very upset that Balaji ne mujhe darshan hi nahi diya. So he came down and he wrote a poetry. He said, Balaji, तुमको इतना अहंकार आ गया आजकल. People are coming and giving money to you, and therefore you have actually forgotten those who actually establish your position. That you are the Supreme Lord. You are kind. हम लोग दार दार भटकते, गांव गांव भटकते, घर घर जाते. We go everywhere talking about your glories. Because we speak of your glories, therefore people come to the temple. And when I come to your place, you are chasing me away. शर्म नहीं आता तुमको? It is called as निंदास्पद स्तुति. प्रेम है, लेकिन इतना प्रेम ज्यादा है, जहां ज्यादा प्रेम है वहां ही आप किसी को डांट सकते हो. अगर प्रेम नहीं हो, डांटने से वो फिर दूसरा कुछ हो जाता है. So when this devotee actually questioned the Lord, and Krishna took it very seriously, Lord Balaji took it very seriously. He knows, if these devotees don't establish my position, people will not come to me. If they don't come to me, what will happen to my position? मेरा अस्तित्व, मेरा अस्तित्व नष्ट हो जाएगा. And therefore, on that evening, whenever that procession was there, Lord Balaji's Rath basically stopped where this poor poet was standing. And Balaji glanced at him. He said, I am sorry. No, mujhe kshama kare. So just imagine, even those who come from Artho, Artarthi, forget Jnani, if they come, Krishna says they are magnanimous because you are establishing my position. यानी कि सोचो कि जहां सेवा करने वाले की चेतना क्या है, और वो कौन है? Constantly, all the time providing to all the living entities. His consciousness is that it is my privilege to render service to the living entities. So how can we tell others कि मैंने तेरे को भक्ति में लगा? I brought you to devotional service, you should be grateful to me. You know, my God, you know, I did this to you. You know, you are my child. If it was not for me, how would you come to this world? यहाँ भगवान स्वयं जो उनके पास मांगने के लिए आ रहे हैं, उनको कह रहे कि आप इतने उदार हृदय के हो. So this quality can only be possessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and those who understand this principle. Therefore, when we study carefully Bhagavad Gita, we realize actually we don't do any welfare service to anybody. It becomes welfare service to them because they accept it like that. It is only my good fortune that I am getting to do something. A kathakar, a speaker, a teacher, when he is teaching, at least it should be the consciousness of the teacher that it is my good fortune that at least I have students to teach. ऐसे कितने सारे सब्जेक्ट है जहाँ विद्यार्थी लोग पढ़ने के लिए आते ही नहीं है. वो सब्जेक्ट ऐसे के ऐसे रह जाता है कॉलेजेस में. There are no students only. If you want to study Sanskrit literature, nobody comes. But if you want to study French, तो उसके लिए विद्यार्थी है. आपको इंडियन क्लासिक पढ़ना है, you know, in some social science college filled with the liberals, if you want to study Ramayana, you may want to study Ramayana, but there is no one to teach you. Or even if there is someone to teach, you'll get only one student. When a child is born, a child makes the girl into a mother. So the mother, a very sensitive mother, thanks her baby. My dear baby, because of you, I am experiencing the motherhood. Therefore, what Gita, what Bhagavatam, what Ramayana tells, it's all about you take responsibility of your happiness. Do not play the victim card so that others should make happiness. Can you imagine Krishna should be the greatest complainer? कि यार मैं खाना खिलाता हूँ, इतना करता हूँ, मेरी पूजा बहुत कम लोग करते हैं. बराबर टाइम पे आते हैं वो लोग. एकादशी के दिन आएंगे, फिर आएंगे ही नहीं. शनिवार को आएंगे, फिर आएंगे ही नहीं. अगर शनिवार में कुछ अच्छा मूवी रिलीज हो गया तो फिर बोलेंगे भगवान some other time I will come. Can you imagine? So, but you never find Krishna teaching living entities. This is the verse. Please reflect upon this verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Udara sarva evahi. Therefore, when the Bhagavatam says that in any consciousness, for whatever reason you come to Krishna, to Lord Ramachandra will benefit you. But again, we should not misuse these verses. अरे कृष्णा बोल रहा है उदार हम लोग हैं, देखो हम कितने महान हैं. Bhakti is all about competing with Krishna in serving Krishna. Samartha Ramdas, I think I spoke that, very beautiful. When people would come to him, tormented, being weak, अरे राम से प्रार्थना करो कि हमारी रक्षा करे. He said, Samarth bano, Samarth bano, Samarth bano. He said, don't come to Ram as a burden. He is anyway doing to you. Use the resources what he has given to you so that you can render service to Ram. This was shown by Prahlad. When Lord Narsinghdeva wanted to offer something for Prahlad, Prahlad chastised Lord Narsinghdeva. बोले क्या कर रहे हो आप, बिगाड़ रहे हो मेरे को. I came to you only for serving you, and you are thinking that I'm a customer giving you something and you are giving something to me. He said, no, this relationship is not at all very good. So Prahlad is basically chastising Lord. And Lord is not stopping. Lord is more determined than Prahlad. He said, no, please ask something from me. Because if you ask something from me, I will feel satisfied. आप मुझे हमेशा ऋण में डाल के रखोगे. No, Sudama and Krishna again. If you see who is Krishna and who is Sudama, Sudama says that too when he is walking out from Dwarka. He says, who is Krishna? He is the source of Mother Lakshmi, जिनके पीछे लोग भागते बार बार और जो उनसे भाग जाती है चंचला. You can never capture Lakshmi. She comes to us ultimately by her own will. Yes, we may endeavor, we may do that, we need to do that, but ultimately she comes by her own will and she moves away by her own will. Nobody can stop her. And that Lakshmi, she is called as what? Narayani Priya. Wherever Lord Narayan is there, she goes there. That Lakshmi goes to Lord Narayan. So therefore here we see that, what was the point I am making? Sudama, thank you. So Sudama is saying to Krishna, who is Krishna? He is the husband of goddess of fortune. सबसे भागती है वो लक्ष्मी, लेकिन भगवान के चरणों में हमेशा के लिए स्थिर हो जाती है. She resides there forever. And who am I? Who am I? What is my position? I am the lowest of the Brahma Bandhu. And what Krishna was thinking? Krishna was thinking, who is Sudam and who am I? What did he give me? And how can I give anything back to him? I do not have the power, I do not have the capacity to give what Sudama has given to me. I cannot. I'm incapable. He has given me this poha with such a love, I have nothing to give to him. And what Sudama is thinking? This is the beauty of friendship. The beauty of friendship is, Mahabharata explains, he says, a friend indeed. Who is a friend? When you see a friend who is in need, and if you do not understand, you should give him without asking anything. And who is a friend? He doesn't stop here. Who is a friend? However difficulty he is in, he will never ask anything from his friend. जो मित्र से मांगता है उसकी मित्रता नष्ट हो जाती है. जो मित्र को देता नहीं है उसकी मित्रता नष्ट हो जाती है. यानी कि देने वाले को एडवांस में देना चाहिए, और जो लेना है, he should be so conscious not to explain anything about his trouble. And Sudama was able to practice that. He couldn't ask anything from Krishna. He said, how can I ask him? He has given me everything. He has given himself to me. How can I ask Krishna, I am garib, mujhe kuch to de do. He walked away, feeling completely satisfied. Just see. And here Krishna, if somebody is asking from him, doing some service to him, he says, I want to give something to them. So therefore this Gunavan will take some more,
RG Media YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe.